So good afternoon, and well, greetings from heresy. So I'm a lawyer, but I do have a soft spot for engineers and nerds because I've been working with them almost 30 years. Now you can do the math. But reason I may be here is to talk a bit about the nasty thing called rules, but my fundamental message for you guys, who are actually the gatekeepers, when you are building the architecture and you are doing the system, you are either enabling or disabling not just the flow of data, but the end user rights. And some of you may think that you have nothing to do with the consumers and end users because you are doing B2B. But somewhere in the end, hopefully, every single product is going to be used by consumers, and that data is coming from consumers. And I'm here talking about Internet of Data. I took the liberty of changing the entire head title of this conference because I think that data is what is actually happening there. Something about humans. We have a deep, deep tendency and a need to humanize things around us. We love to dress our pets and we want to think that machines have feelings. I'm quite sure that if you think about the caveman somewhere after a day of hunting saber-toothed tigers and mammoth, and when you crawled in that cave and had nothing but stone, you were like, gee, thanks, beep, there's not a living creature in sight. But maybe we, who are then surrounded by this technology, have some kind of a need to plaster humanity and feelings on it. So what I'm kind of basically saying is that those machines are not talking to each other. That fridge or car or whatever is just a cover for something, connectivity device that is embedded into it. They are discussing with each other. The data is there actually making this network, not those machines as such. I don't think they really have intelligence. Something then, I'm not going to go here in the live stages of the data, but one message for you guys is to understand why you are collecting it and for what purpose and where you are storing it. And one bit questioning that do you really need all that data in that format? One thing that I notice in the discussion, what gets blurred a lot, is that what is data? Because people, and I mean sensible people, non-lawyers, when they're discussing about data, they don't really think about that, is it personal or non-personal data? And there's a drastic difference. It's really black and white. If the data is anonymized sufficiently, and there's no way you can tell it's Leena anymore, if it's non-personal data, then do whatever. It's not regulated. The oncoming regulation and all the rules about the privacy, they concern about personal data, which means that somehow I can make the connection to a human being. And here, it's not the question that somebody somewhere, like Russian hacker who could go to NASA or Fort Knox could do that. It means that if you have reasonably priced technology and skillful people, you don't need a genius and 5 million piece of equipment, then it would be considered that it's no longer normal. And this is something I really want everybody to think about. But the reason I'm really being here is about this one. You probably heard about the General Data Protection Regulation, and there are a lot of wild rumors around it. One illusion that I really would like to shatter here and now is somehow the deep belief, what I've heard, that, the EU Commission didn't understand the business at all. And that's why they make these ludicrous rules that are now going to stop development of everything. Having been personally in the Commission several times, because I have to give them credit that they really wanted to understand how the business works, is that exactly for the reason that they understood how the business works, this regulation was passed. I sometimes like to quote Eric Schmidt, who used to say that his idea of privacy hell is the place where you have European regulation and US enforcement, and may those two never meet. And now they are going to have a big time date on the May 25th, 2018, because the European authorities are going to have the enforcement weapons that can really twist the arms even for the largest players. Those who have not yet heard, so I want to remind you that the maximum, but this is maximum, fines are 4% of your total global revenues or 20 million euros, whichever is higher. And the word from authorities is that they are not going to scratch some small company's door and hit them in the head with 20 million fine. The whole idea is for system to work and give the power back to the consumers. And first priority is to advise. If you can show that you have been thinking about this, you have some kind of processes, you understand where that data is going, where is it stored, then probably even if you've been behaving badly, it goes significantly down. They want you to correct the things because then everybody wins. The end user wins, you can continue your business. Only for those really stubborn people who show middle fingers for the authority and really don't care, because for this period up until now, it didn't matter, it was maths. If your business revenue from some data usage is billion, you don't care if you pay 100,000 fines, easy. So now that's no longer an excuse. In addition, there will be a notification obligation, and breach of that has additional fines. So what is happening is here that I kind of got what I wanted, because I've been always complaining that don't tell businesses how to do things. Tell me what I need to do. Give me the level that I need to reach, and no matter what technology I use, I will reach that level. And now that is what Commission kind of did, and now everybody's like flabbergasted because they are not told how to do it. So I warmly recommend you all, unless you have the project ongoing in-house, to go and discuss your lawyers. They will be your best buddies, because only together with the IT and legal, you can somehow understand what's happening inside your companies. And I would kind of say that one acid test question for all of you is that if now, let's say, 100 users would send you a request and say that, delete my data, would you know what to do? So that you would have actually deleted from all the places where it's stored. If you can answer this question, then probably you have pretty good understanding where you have it. But I have to say that a lot of companies, confess, don't have 100% accuracy on that. Ecosystems are so large and huge, and the data is traveling fast, and you easily open that interface for others. And now the question is, why do you do it? Is it necessary for the service that you are providing? And then the big thing here is, if I would have money and skills, and I'm lacking both, I would start a company offering anonymization services, because a lot of businesses don't need exact information who that end user is. You need a bulk data. You need to understand that, okay, 20 to 25 years old people with that kind of background, voiceable, they prefer something or they don't like something. You don't need the knowledge who they actually are. And this has a profound change. And I have few links there in the last slide that I warmly recommend. I know you guys are not going to either read the regulation, but there's a lot of information available right now, and the clock is ticking. But I'm an idealist. In the end, I think that this is right. Because very often in negotiation table, we have the discussion, there's a topic in the agreement saying ownership of data. And now I'm fighting with the company that who owns the data. And I have a very different view. Who owns my data? I do. I only give a limited permission for limited time for companies to use it because they are providing services to me. And here comes the drastic change or difference in the European regulation. I can withdraw my consent anytime. I can change my mind. If I say today that it's okay, go ahead and use my location data. In the afternoon, I start feeling, or in the evening, dizzy, and I decide, not. This is, of course, technically challenging, and some questions are open yet. But having said that, I really, really recommend that you start implementing the data minimization principle. If you have the legitimate reason, I mean, there are a lot of services that absolutely don't work without having very accurate data. Let's say health services, but there you have the reason. But if I'm serving games where you can use slingshot to shoot pigs, it's very difficult for me to somehow reason that I should really understand your deep emotions in order. Making the games better, yeah, but do I need to understand exactly every single individual's thought process? So, authorities will have the power to investigate, the consumers will have power to demand and decide. What is really hitting the companies in the way that I didn't see it is this consent. There will be a lot of more things where you will need a specific permission from the users and administrate that. And that's not a million, but maybe 20 million euro question. Where do you exactly need it? We're having betting on the best candidates, and at the moment it certainly will be location, as it has been. I'm pretty sure, I would say 99.9, that for any profiling you will need the consent. And it needs to be written in such a way that average consumer understands it. It's not enough saying, you can't hide it in some way in the privacy policy that you accepted the terms and then ahead we go. You need to be able to say that I need your data because I'm doing something. And here it comes challenging. If you think about the big players who don't tell me what they are doing with the data, how the heck I'm going to say to the end user, hey, give me the permission that I will give you data to these 5 companies that I have no idea what they are doing. Is this okay? I mean, then I would have fulfilled my obligation, but I'm a bit doubtful that anybody will click I agree. That remains to be seen. So, who controls the data? Whoever has the first point of contact to the end users. But what is changed now, or will be next May, is that also processors have a direct liability. They can't anymore say that I don't know what my customer is doing. You go ahead and take care of it. You are also responsible to ensure this. And who cares? Well, quite many actually. Like I said, authorities are now getting more staff, more money. Finland is struggling. Let's see if Reijo Arnio gets what he wants. But I just read that in Ireland, what of course is the headquarters for a lot of European companies, just hired almost 20 new people in their staff to run investigations. But now it's quiet before the storm. But it will be a game changer. And really my message again, just to repeat it, is that those companies who will embrace this instead of fighting it will be the winners. Because when I'm, or anybody in any company is now looking for the service providers, and this is a bit of a headache, that company who comes ahead and says, don't worry, we thought about it. We have processes and we can guarantee you they will have a lot of customers. Maybe not yet, but I would say that before next Christmas there will be a kind of a rush to those service providers who can provide some comfort. Because also I'm going to be very nasty if I end up in the negotiation table with you guys. Because my first requirement will be that you take full liability for your actions. If I have no visibility and I can't manage that risk, I'm not going to take it. So you will carry it on my behalf. There will be back-to-back arrangement, both on the security front, and what else you need is an incident response team who will then contact your customers to notify them if something goes wrong. So, like I said here, a few links for you guys. And IAPP.org has a very practical advice. And of course, all the tech magazines. And like I said, you go back to your companies and hug that lawyer. It's a friend, not an enemy. Thanks.
Thank you, Leena.